Have you ever come across someone trying to give away a puppy and been reluctant to even go near it, knowing that you'll want to take it home? Well, after you see our next story, you may want to weigh that option a little more carefully. That might not be a puppy you're walking away from. It might be a miracle. Nestled among the majestic redwoods of Northern California is the quaint town of Garberville. In 1999, Nancy and Jeff Best were raising a family there while running a popular coffee shop, the Java Joint.
Our life was a little hectic at the time. We had 3 kids going to 3 different schools. My husband had taken a job in the Bay Area, which is a good 4.5-hour drive away. So during the week he'd be gone, and during this time I would have to run the shop.
Even with her active schedule, Nancy dreamed of adding another member to her family.
I've always been an animal lover. My mom used to call me Dr. Doolittle when I was little because I always had animals around me. I'm particularly fond of dogs. I've been pestering my husband about getting a yellow lab. Every time I'd see one, I would hint, Christmas is coming, want a yellow lab. But he kept saying that we really shouldn't get one at this time.
I didn't want to have another dog because, you know, our lives were kind of in flux then, and we were renting that house, and we just didn't need another dog.
Is there anything else you'd like to
But
get?
a few weeks before Christmas, opportunity rang.
Nancy! Okay, thanks. I'll be right back. Thank you. Hello? I received a phone call from a friend of mine who had spotted some yellow labs. She said, Nancy, these dogs are just beautiful. You have to come down here right now. The man who is selling them is just here for a minute. He's traveling. So if you don't come now, you're going to miss your opportunity. All right, I'm coming. I'm coming right now. Thanks.
Hey, babe, where are you going?
I'll be right back. I'm going to go run an errand. I got in my car. I went down to the park. And as I drove up, I saw these beautiful puppies. And they were so cute. They were those darling yellow labs. They were healthy, and their tails were wagging, and they were all running around in a little bunch. And I knew that I wasn't going to leave without a puppy. Hello. And at this point, I really didn't know if I wanted a boy or a girl. But when I called her, I knew she was the one I was going to take home.
Pretty girl.
So anyway, she showed up with this puppy, you know, and I was not happy about it at all. I wanted her to take it back.
Which I couldn't do because the owner of the dogs had already left, so that worked out really well.
It didn't take long for the puppy to soften Jeff's hard heart.
I mean, puppies, you know, you fall in love with a puppy almost immediately, so it worked out pretty good that way.
Nancy named the pup Mia, and she grew to become a true member of the family.
Mia's kind of like Nancy. She likes to have fun. She likes to be with people. She's just a nice dog. She's always friendly, always ready to cuddle up or to be scratched behind the ear or whatever, you know.
When Mia was about 14 months old, Nancy started to feel run down, and her dog's behavior began to change.
So with my life so hectic at the time, I was feeling tired. I was just getting worn out. I was physically tired. And I knew that if I didn't start taking a rest during the day, that I couldn't continue. When I would lay on the couch, Mia would usually lay next to me, and it would be pretty uneventful. But for this particular time, when I was starting to feel really tired, Mia would come up and lay her nose on my chest and started sniffing. Go. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I thought maybe she was smelling some kind of foods from the Java Joint that I might have still had on my shirt. This proceeded again. She came back to me a couple days later, did the same sniffing and licking in the same spot.
Come on, stop. Come on.
I was so tired and I was so bothered by the fact that she was doing this that I actually got mad and I put her outside.
And she kept her outside the next day as well. But eventually, Mia snuck back into the house.
My daughter had come home from school, and after she opened the door, Mia came barreling into the house and dove into my chest, into the area that she had been sniffing and licking. I started to rub it with my hand because it did cause a great deal of pain. At that instant is when I felt the lump.
And up here is the lump where you're feeling. Unfortunately, it does have the little specks of calcium that make us real suspicious.
Nancy's physician was Dr. Mark Phelps.
Last year, there was not a speck. Despite having had a mammogram before that was negative, indeed there was a lump of tissue there that was new and different from the previous exams, and we rarely ever see.
Dr. Phelps recommended further testing to determine whether the lump was malignant.
It may be that is an early cancer.
It was very scary. I never thought that I would get cancer. I always thought everybody else got cancer. I lived a pretty healthy lifestyle, and it was a shock.
It looks confined just to that area. The diagnosis was, unfortunately, a new breast cancer called a ductal cancer. It's the one that can be extremely dangerous, that spreads quickly, and the timing is critical. Gotten early, these are the cancers you can cure, and just a little too late, and they spread.
Yeah. Well, that's what we thought. When the doctor called with the results, the first thing that I thought was I was going to lose everything that I loved, my family, my children. I wouldn't get to see them grow. Other than the fact that you think you're going to die, you have to think about the things that you haven't done yet, and you know that tomorrow is not promised to anyone, and I had that feeling in an instant.
Nancy was immediately scheduled for a partial mastectomy and the removal of nearby lymph nodes where the cancer might have spread.
My fear was of any suffering that Nancy was going to have to endure. I gave her a kiss and good luck. I was just trying to keep her positive. But, you know, there's always that thought in the back of your mind. I mean, you can't help but think that, you know, possibly your wife's going to die.
As Jeff waited, the surgeons removed 26 lymph nodes from below Nancy's arm.
All of the lymph nodes were negative for any spread. The cancer was confined just to this small area. She was able to remove the cancer and preserve her breast and go through the treatment then with a very high likelihood of complete cure.
If this cancer hadn't been detected at this time, my doctor feels that it could have got a lot worse. He said the chance of it spreading was increased, and had Mia not discovered it at that time, my chances for survival would have been greatly reduced.
The fact that a dog was able to do it is just remarkable. I've heard little bits and hints. You hear them from cancer specialists now and again because they'll hear the stories. But I never thought I would ever see a case of that. Who would ever think?
I think the miracle here was that Mia was determined to let Nancy know that there was something going on there that wasn't right. And she kept after it until Nancy realized it.
To show Mia how much they appreciate the miracle she gave them, Nancy and Jeff reward her each morning with a special treat.
My husband makes breakfast for the kids in the morning, and Mia waits anxiously every morning for her pancake. She's just thrilled to be spoiled like that. She's the little princess in the house now.
And Jeff realizes how close he came to not allowing her to be part of their family.
I thought about the fact that I never wanted the dog to begin with, and what an amazing thing it was that, I mean, the way we got her. She kind of snuck down there and bought this dog behind my back, and then it turns out to be the savior dog, you know, so it was a tremendous thing.
For Mia to find this cancer, and just 5 months after I had a negative breast exam, it's a miracle. It's nothing less than a miracle to me.
How many sticks? Okay.
If Mia could understand words, I would tell her thank you. Thank you for alerting me to something that could have taken my life. Something that could have taken me away from my children, my husband, the things I love the most. I would tell her that she is my miracle, and there is a reason that I have her, and that I love her.